Okay, guys, so now that you've learned a little bit about dimensional analysis and what it means to cancel out units, to convert from one unit to another, we're going to do a couple of real world kind of scenarios, things that you could use this for in your everyday life. So that before we dive into the chemistry part of it, which can be a little bit harder to kind of conceptualize, we're going to do this so that we understand the process of solving these questions and why we're doing them. So a couple of things that we're going to be looking for. In the video, it talked about a conversion factor. And a conversion factor, remember, is going to be anytime we have something like 12 inches equals 1 foot. Okay, we can put them on top of each other in a ratio, and those things equal 1, okay? Because we know that they are equal units or equal measurements. 12 inches is a foot. So therefore, we could write it like this, or we could flip it and have 1 foot on top and 12 inches on the bottom, and it means the same thing. It's just like kind of like saying 3 over 3 equals 1. It's the same thing here, because though the numbers don't come out to be 1, 12 divided by 1 obviously is 12, but those are equal measurements. When you take into account the units, that we're talking about inches here and a foot here, then these two amounts they are equal. So some keywords we want to look for in the problems that we're doing is we want to look for per or each. Okay, those are two kind of key indicators that we have a conversion factor that we can use out of the problem. So we're going to look for those terms while we read these problems. If you have if you're annotating on your notes guide, you can use the highlighter function on that. If you have this printed out or you're doing it in your notes, you can use a highlighter. So I'm going to use a highlighter as we read to highlight any information that we have that is a conversion factor. So this first question says, you are planning a road trip of 720 miles. Now, we do not see the word per or each here, so for now we're going to assume this is not a conversion factor, but this number is going to be important to us later. So let's take a look at the next statement. Your vehicle gets 25 miles per gallon. So there's that keyword per. So 25 miles per gallon is going to be a conversion factor for us. And gas currently costs $3.64 per gallon. Okay, again, the word per, and that means that's going to be a conversion factor that we can use. So it says, how much will the fuel for this trip cost? Now, I know that there's other ways in math that you can figure these problems out. This particular type of problem solving becomes very important in a couple of units. So in this unit, we're just learning how to set up these problems and use them to create efficiency. They kind of become a requirement. In a couple of units, there's really not another way to solve the problems. So we're going to get good at them in this unit, so when we get to that particular unit, we're going to be really ready to go. So whenever you're doing these problems, first of all, let's pull out our two conversion factors and write them off to the side. So we have 24 miles equals 1 gallon. Oops, 24 miles equals 1 gallon of gas. Okay, and then the other conversion factor we have is $3.64 equals 1 gallon. And then the other information we have in the problem, we always want to look for, there's one more piece of numerical information that we're given that is not a part of a conversion factor, and that's right here. And that's going to be what we're going to start the problem with. So 720 miles. I'm just going to list them here, and then we're going to start our problem separately. Now, there's two ways you can work these problems, and I'm going to show you both ways on this sheet so that you're familiar with seeing them both ways. So just kind of follow along and I'll explain. So you always want to start the problem with this information here, the one that doesn't have, it's not a conversion factor, it doesn't have any sort of thing that's equal to. So we're going to put 720 miles, and this time what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of draw these brackets, okay? So 720 miles goes here. You'll remember from the video that you watched that we want to have the same units in the bottom of the next step. Okay, and that's because just like in math, if I have x divided by x, the x's actually cancel out and go away. Anything divided by itself goes away. And so if I have the same units on the bottom, then the units will not kind of disappear. They become irrelevant at that point. So 720 miles, and the only conversion factor that I have up here with miles is this one. So I know that's the one that I'm going to use, and I want miles on the bottom. Remember, we want them diagonal from each other. So I'm going to put the 24 miles on the bottom, and then I'm going to put the 1 gallon on the top. Now, miles and miles cancel. The numbers do not cancel, but the units now cancel. If I were to stop right here and solve the problem, my answer would be in gallons. However, the question is asking us how much the fuel will cost, and so we need to get to that dollar amount. So again, miles were here, so miles go here. I look at the conversion factor with miles, and I put it on the bottom, and it equals the thing that I put on the top. Okay? Now gallon is here, so I need gallon to be on the bottom of the next step. And the only other conversion factor I have is that 1 gallon equals, or is going to cost us, $3.64. Okay, so gallon here and gallon here are going to cancel. And so my units now are just going to be, the only units that remain are dollars, which is good because it wants me to find out how much the trip cost. So the way it goes in your calculator, guys, we're going to pull it out, but it goes anything across the top, we are going to multiply. I'm going to put them in brackets down here so you can see how you should put them into your calculator. So 720 times 3.64. You could put the 1 in there if you want to. It is not necessary. Obviously, anything times 1 is itself, so it doesn't change anything. So 720 multiplied by 3.64, and we're going to divide all of that by what's on the bottom, which is 24. So that's what I would put in my calculator. And when you put that into your calculator, you should get that it is $109.20. That is our final answer. So we know for planning this trip, we would need to plan for about $110 for gas for the trip. The next one. Okay, this scenario, I've got that there are 375 boys that will be attending basketball camp. Each team, and we see the word each, that is one of our indicators. If you go back to the top of your notes, each and per are the things we're looking for. So each team has 5 boys. So I'll take my highlighter and highlight it. And each team will need 1 basketball. Another conversion factor. Okay. A case of basketballs costs $190. Now, we don't see the word per or each in here, but we know that that means 1 case equals $190. You would need $190 to buy a case of basketballs, so that's going to be a conversion factor. And then each case has 25 balls. So this one has 4 conversion factors that we'll be using. Okay? And then it says, how much will it cost to purchase balls for the camp? So let's write all of our conversion factors down. We have that each team will have 5 boys. So 1 team equals 5 boys. And then each team will need 1 basketball. Okay, so 1 team needs 1 ball. Okay, and then a case of basketballs costs $190. So 1 case equals $190. And each case has 25 balls. 1 case equals 25 balls. Now, remember that I told you to look in the question for any other numerical information that we did not use in the equivalent and the conversion factor. And that would be this one, 375 boys. So we know that that's going to be what we're going to start the problem with. All right, so we want to make sure and leave a lot of room. So I have 375 boys. Okay, this time I'm going to do a little bit different of a setup. I'm not going to draw the brackets. I'm going to show you with parentheses. And you are free to do whichever way you like. I want to just show you both ways so you're familiar when you see them on other examples. Okay, 375 boys. If the word boys is here, we need the word boys at the bottom of the next step because we want them to be diagonal from each other. And so the only equivalence that we have, or the only conversion factor that we have, is this one that has it. So I'm going to put 5 boys on the bottom, and that makes up 1 team. Okay, now we've used this one up. Okay, now I have team on the top and I need team on the bottom, so the only one that has team is going to be this one right here. So that's going to be the one that I use in the next step. So 1 team, because team is there, I want team on the bottom, is going to use 1 ball. Oops. So that is used now. Okay, my next step. Okay, let's go ahead and cancel some units. We have used boys and team and team. Now we have ball. So let's see. Here's the one that has balls. So there are going to be 25 balls in every one case. Okay, so that's going to be going away. Balls cancels out. So if I stopped right now and calculated my answer, I would be calculating how many cases I need to purchase. And that's okay, because sometimes we just want to know that as well. But we want to know in this case the cost. So if I have case in the up here, I need to have case down below. I'm going to use this final conversion factor right here. So 1 case costs $190. And so case is going to cancel. And how it would go into your calculator. You're going to multiply across the top. Remember, I'm going to leave all the ones out because they're not necessary. So in my calculator, I'm going to put 375 times 190 divided by what's on the bottom, the product of what's on the bottom. So that's going to be divided by 5 times 25. Okay, and so I need to do in my calculator 375 times 190, get that answer, divide that by 5, and I could put in parentheses divided by 5 times 25, or I could say divided by 5 and then divided by 25 again. And the answer here should be in your calculator, $570. If you at any point are having trouble with your calculator, you can go rewatch the calculator video where I talked to you about how to do the mole calculations we did with the Desmos calculator. But also, please reach out to your instructor if you are not sure how to use this in Desmos or on your particular calculator. You are going to be allowed to use your own calculator if you need to on a test, if you prefer that. All right, lastly, this one can look a little bit confusing, but we're going to do it exactly the same way. We don't have to understand all the jargon in the question. We just need to be able to pull it out and use it in the actual calculation. So, a patient in a hospital needs an infusion of 1,000 milliliters of IV fluids. The IV tubing administers fluid at a drop factor, don't know what drop factor is, but that is okay, of 15 drops per milliliter. I see that word per, and I see a conversion factor. Okay, if the infusion delivers 31.25 drops per minute, there's that word per, 31.25 drops per minute, how many hours will it take to infuse all of the fluid? Okay, so let's pull out our conversion factors again. 15 drops per milliliter. Oops, I meant to put the equals. Sorry. Well, I'm going to rewrite that for you guys. So 15 drops equals 1 milliliter. Okay, and the next one is 31.25 drops. My pen is stopping working. Equals 1 minute. So that's how long it's going to take it to drop those drops. Okay, looking at the question, we have a leftover number, the 1,000 milliliters, and just remember that that is going to be the number we're going to start the whole calculation with. Okay, so 1,000 milliliters. I'm going to go back to using the brackets. All right, so which one of these has milliliters? Drops, milliliters, drops, minutes. So it's going to be this one right here. So when you don't know, a lot of times students don't know what number to put here. They'll put the ml, but they don't know what number. That's why it's important to write these out. So 1 milliliter is 15 drops. Okay, we've used that. And now milliliters is going to go away. And if I stopped and I calculated right now, my answer would be how many drops we would have to get 1,000 milliliters. So next one, we need to use these drops on the bottom. So I'm going to use what's next to it. So 31.25 drops for every 1 minute. Now, this question asked us how many hours will it take? And they didn't give us a conversion factor but that's one of those things that we know, hopefully, on our own, how to convert minutes to hours. So drops is going to go away. And then now you have to figure out how many minutes I'm going to put on the bottom per hour. Hopefully you know by now that there are 60 minutes for every 1 hour. So minutes will cancel. And then we can solve the problem. So in your calculator, you would do 1,000 times 15 times, I'm going to say 1 because I forgot I can leave it off, but I wrote the word times, so it's fine. Times 1 times 1. Okay, that's on the top. And in the bottom, you're going to put open parentheses, 31.25 times 60 goes in your denominator. And I just got these numbers out of here. 1,000 times 15 times 1 times 1 divided by 31.25 times 60. And when you put that in your calculator, you should get 8 hours. Again, if you are not getting these answers that I'm getting, but you've written everything out the same, that means we have a calculator issue that needs to get ironed out. So please reach out to your teacher and get some assistance with that. So hopefully this helps you kind of see how we would use this in other areas of life other than chemistry, because now we're going to dive into in the next video how do we use it in chemistry, and it can be a little bit harder to imagine because we're talking about very, very small things. See you on the next video.